Okay, so removing this side, again, just repeat the process we did on the other side. Remember to use a plastic trim tool. You've got, just looking at this, which is the reverse on the other side, you've got a clip here, clip down here, and a clip up here. So all we're doing is pushing this trim tool in. That's 1, 2, 3, and off. Right, and these are little just pressing ones, so you just give a bit of a wiggle. That's that off. Then we have the 1, 2, 3 Torx bits. Again, they're T20, so exactly the same as on the driver's side. Just go a little stiff. That's not the greatest screwdriver I was using. Let's break them. Go 1. Again, break them. One. Two. So again, going to the little cubby to remove this trim here, and what you're doing is reaching inside the rear light, and there's a clip on the left and a clip on the right that you need to, it's a really loose clip, just undo, and the rear light will pop out. So what I'll do, I'll pop that light out, and then you'll be able to see, I'll show you on the back what clips I'm talking about. Okay. Inside the car, hand into the rear light, there's a clip at the bottom on this side, a clip on the bottom on the other side. There you go. And that's off the car, nice and easy again. Undo your wiring, literally just pull on that clip. And that's both rear lights off the car, so that's simple. Just to show you the rear of the light, so the 2 clips I'm referring to. There's one here, it's a little, literally just pressing clip. And one here, so on the lower half, that's when you're reaching into the little cubby. They're what you're pressing in just to pull the light out. Okay, so next we're going to remove this piece of trim here. So if we go underneath, we can see there's 1, 2, 3, we'll look like 8mm bolts that we'll undo next. And the third one. So everything we've recorded today is down the driver's side. From what I understand, everything is exactly the same for the passenger side, so you just repeat any of these processes on the passenger side and you can remove all the trim. So removing this rear trim, we come inside, you can see there's 2 big clips. You just see if we can catch that on camera. So here, and all we do, press down on those to release them, and I need a second hand to do that, so I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, so you can see that's just pulled away here, so these 2 large clips, and by the looks of it, there's just 2 more. We press down on the back, hopefully they should lift out. Okay, so that's now off the car. See these 2 clips clipped into here, and you've got 2 more, one here and one here. And obviously I've got the parking sensors, so let's disconnect that for a second. So we can see that actually removes off the back of here, it's just held in with a couple of clips, and we can push that out, so let's remove that. And the good thing with this compared to previous generations is that the parking sensor isn't painted. It's actually a section on the the bumper that is, so that you can interchange them without having to repaint the parking sensors, which is great news. Okay, so the next step is to remove these two screws here. Again, T20 pits. They're only little stubby swans. And there should be one at either side of the car. So that's the first one off. So you can see there, two little screws. Let's take it to the other side. Let's take it to the driver's side here. One. Two, so you can see why you had to get the arch liner off and the light out, because this screw here was hidden behind the light and this is hidden behind the arch. Okay, so one of the final steps to getting the rear bumper off now is it's held in against these two black trim pieces, one either end, and all you do is pull slightly away from the car, put your little plastic pry tool underneath, and try not to bend it too much because you don't want to break it. But just keep applying pressure by pulling towards you. And there you go, that's those out. So again, you don't want to put too much pressure on this. So it is just thin black plastic at the end of the day. Then we'll go to the driver's side and do the exact same process, and the whole bumper should come off the car. Okay, so we're on the driver's side now, and we're going to do the same again. So pulling away from the car slightly to work on the outside edge. And then lift up that one, and that's out. Okay, so the final step before we remove this is a bolt that I actually missed when I was looking over the car. But there's actually an 8mm bolt just behind here. As you look directly up, pull the bumper forward slightly and go up and behind. Now it's going to be really tricky to film, so what I'll do is I'll get that bolt undone. When the bumper's off, I'll actually show you exactly where it is, so you know when you're removing the bumper. Okay, so what I used in the end was the extension piece to get to this 8mm screw that's in the middle, sort of here. I'll show you that once we get this bumper off the car. You literally now should be able to pull away, just disconnect any light connections or parking sensors you've got on the back bumper. If I show you what I was struggling with, so you can see this here, this bolt, that's where that screw went through, and that's why I had to come up through here, put the 8mm on and undo underneath here to get that bumper off. Then obviously to refit this bumper, reverse the steps we've just taken. Okay, so to remove your rear diffuser, the stock one on the JCW bumper, there's these little clips here all the way along. So all you've got to do is use a screwdriver or trim removal tool, pop those all out, and then this will come off. So I'll just do that off camera now. Okay, so now we've got this trim off the car, all we need to do is start removing all the stuff that we need to switch over to the new diffuser. Okay, so what we're going to start with is getting this black section out. So all we do is just make sure all those tabs, you just use right, and I'm being a little bit less gentle with mine because this is actually damaged and going in the bin when I'm done with it. If you just, there you go, press through, you won't damage these little clips on the back. Mine, like I say, it's a little bit different just because this is going in the bin afterwards because it's cracked. So I think the previous owner must have reversed them something. Let's do the one there. Okay. So now that trims out. We've got that removed. That makes that light coming out a hell of a lot easier. That's the driver's side. And then we've just got to get the reverse sensors. So if you've got reverse sensors, let's just look at the back of here to work it out. And you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 clips on there. So all we need to do is apply pressure from the back with my hand, and then literally lift up the clips on the back of here and pull that out. So remember, these are the driver's side bits. I'm going to follow the exact same process now to get this out. So I found it easier to remove this black trim. I don't think it's a necessary step. I think we should be able to get that out, but let's do it, as it's been the easiest process for mine. So again, make sure press all these out. Again, you want to be a bit more careful when it comes to undoing these clips, especially if you want to reuse this trim piece in the future. So press those out. That's now our passenger side bits out. So again, squeeze these two red ones out. That comes for the passenger side. And again, it's going to be a case of applying pressure. So hand on the back, apply pressure, and just lift these up one by one. So we've got our parking sensor out. So that's passenger side. So I'm going to leave that set up here on the side, so that when I get the new Pro Diffuser, I know which side each of these go into. Okay, so our first step is to actually take your reverse sensor off the car, and you'll see that there's a notch section just here. And all we do, slot that into there, make sure that clips in place, and that's that attached. Then that is ready to then go onto the bumper. Okay, so when looking at the bumper, we've got these two clips here. They actually slot into that section there on the bumper, and then these two pressing ones that clip in go there. So we're going to attempt this off the car first and see if we can get this to attach. Flip the bumper over and do it this way. You can see exactly where they're coming through then. So there's two low ones clipping there, nice and easy. And slide that through. You see here that clip there. So what you want to do is this clip needs to hook over the back of this bumper. So we'll do the same here, and that's just gone in and clipped in. We've done the same, and these two are now in. If we bring the camera in, so you can see here, that one, that one, that one and that one are all now clipped in the right place. So that's attached to the car, so we're going to do the same on the other side. Okay, so let's get the back bumper back on the car. So we make sure that we line up the bolt holes there and there, and then these clips go in and just clip into place. Same at the other end. Make sure you press those quite firmly until they clip into place. So that's that done. That hole's lined up and that hole's lined up. So we'll just get those screws in now. It's using a T25 Torx bit. Make sure you lift your bumper as high as you can. The gap's all in place. Let's just lift that up. This one done. That's that corner. We'll just go to the other end of the car. So again, bumper's clipped into place. All you've got to do is the two screws up at either end. Okay, so that's your bumper in place. Okay, so now the actual stock diffusers out the way, you can actually see here, this is the bracket I was struggling with when it came to taking the bumper off. Now the diffuser's out the way, you can see you can easily get in to do this screw back up. So again, we're just using an 8mm socket. Let's get that done up. Okay, so that locks that in place, and then when everything's done we'll also do that screw back up there. Okay, and before I forget, let's just take this opportunity to plug in the parking sensors. So it's just this connector into the back of the parking sensor. Let's go into the other side of the car as well. You can see we've got the cable hanging down here. There you go, and that's in as well, just so we don't forget. Okay, the next step is to take the clips provided and slide those over these sections here. We'll do both of them at the same time. That's for later on when you've got to screw these into place. Okay, so this is a step they seem to miss out on a lot of the online guides. So what you should get with your fitting kit is actually some adhesive, a cleaning product called Beta Clean, and some sandpaper. And what you need to do is actually sand this gap here, this here, and this here on both of them. If you're doing that, so you're roughing up the edge so that you get a good adhesion when you put the glue on this particular section. There you go, and we'll do the exact same. So this is on the back, so you don't see any of this sanding and rough bit. This is just where it's going to be glued to the car. There you go, and while we're at it, we're going to use some of this Beta Clean just to clean off where we've sanded as well. Bit on the cloth, you just wipe that over. Ensures there's no grease or anything that might affect the glue sticking. And what you can also see on the back of these are these red sticky tabs. Now they stick to the paintwork, so what we're going to do is actually clean the rear bumper now with this same product so that we get a good adhesion with the glue. Okay, so this actually sticks in here, so it's actually going to fit onto the car. I won't clip it in place, but roughly there, so you can see we need to clean off this lip here, because this is where these sticky tabs are going to be. So get your clean cloth, some of this cleaner that's provided in the pack, and just make sure you clean across this lip here, all the way along the car. Okay, so that should be grease and grime free now. Okay, so the next step in the process of preparing these is to actually start to peel off, not all the way, but this tape. Make sure you've got that lip sticking up. And what that'll allow you to do is, once it's pressed towards the car, is pull that out before you push it in. Make sure you got those tabs showing off the edge above. And then those bits we sanded earlier on, and here, we need to just put a small blob of adhesive. So this is the adhesive that Mini recommends, that's the one I've got. And all you do, into the instructions, is chop the end of the sausage off. And just apply as neatly as you can do. Just a little bit of adhesive, and if you need to clean any of that off, use a cloth. And there you go, you've now got your adhesive in this section, and this section, and we're going to apply this to the car now. Okay, so now we're going to take this left hand side that we've just put the glue on and actually clip it in place. So just triple check you're putting your clips in the right place and that it all lines up. Then once you get to this stage, pull off your tabs. and that should lined up correctly clip into the bumper. One. Move the camera around. Two. Okay, so once that's all clipped in and you're happy that everywhere's clipped, give it a good press up against the car to make sure that those sticky tabs stick. Perfect. And what I would like to do as well is there's a bit of glue on the bumper. I don't think it will show, but I'm going to get some cleaning, the cleaning lotion, and just wipe that off with a clean cloth. Okay, so we're going to follow a similar process for this side. So again, flip your sticky tags up. So that they're visible. Get your glue. And again, the areas you've sanded. Blob of glue. Probably a little bit too much, so just get that off with a cloth. Don't need too much on there. Tidy that up a bit. Let's get a blob on there. That's all your glue in place, and that's ready to go on the car. Okay, so it's the same process on this right hand side. We're just going to capture it from a different angle so you can get to see a little bit of a difference. So again, make sure you fully line up all your clips first before you press it anywhere near into the bumper. And a good indicator is obviously this joint here. So let's get those lower clips in first. And let's get right down low, see where those clips are. Start pressing those into the bumper. What you might have to do is get your hand on the back of it and push it in a little bit. And what I found is actually getting down underneath the car and looking back up helped a lot. What you can do is squeeze the back of the bumper from down here between your finger and thumb. It's a little bit tricky to see. That's in. How's that looking across the top? That's fitting a lot better already. So 1, 2, 3, and then this final clip down here on this bottom corner, and that's locked in place. So that should, let's have a look at the top, be a nice close finish. Let's pull this away now. 1 out, 2 out, 3 out. Press against the car, and then we'll get the cloth and the cleaning solution. We'll just clean that off so that any glue that's on the bumper won't ruin your paintwork. Okay, so the next step is to use these adapters, and all you do is clip your fog lights into them. And you should, there you go, should just press into place. There you go, and they're locked in. So what I did, I made sure I gave my fog lights a good polish so they look like new again. The car is sort of just come up to 3 years old, so giving them a good polish with some SRP or something like that. Just gets them bright and brand new again. Clip's a bit tricky. Get them in first, and then that side. That's both in. That's your fog lights into the adapters, which then go onto the back of the bumper. Okay, so next step is to take your fog light, and you want to use one of the little 8mm hex screws that comes with the kit. You want to connect your fog light back up, and then from behind there's a little slot here that you can see that pokes through, and then here you use that 8mm screw I was just talking about. Just get that started with your fingers. And use an 8mm ratchet spanner just to get that done up from behind, so the screw actually comes towards you. I did double check the instructions because it did seem a little odd, but that's exactly what it says to do. Yep, so that's nicely attached now, and that should be working. So we're going to do the same on the other side. So literally pop that in from behind after you've connected it back up. Slide it into this slot. And again use the 8mm screw. Okay, so the next step is to insert these C-clips all the way along these grooves here. So just following the instructions. That should be your final 8 C-clips out your kit, all clipped into place along here. And final one. There you go, so you got your 8 clips, 4 on each. Okay, so next step is to take these, so this is the right hand one. Slide it through under here, and these holes along the top actually line up with a screw here, screw here, screw here, and a screw under here. So we're going to use the original bolts that the bumper was held on to in the first place. Just screw those into a place so they're 8mm. One. Two. One there and one there. So there's 2 you can access from underneath. So all I do, pull this back. Can actually insert it in there and still get the tool in. Do that up. And there's actually a cutout in this plastic trim to allow you to get a tool in to do that up, so that's good. Okay, and then this final one goes through the arch liner. And again, there's a cutout. In. So you can see if we come underneath, one there, one there, one here, and this cutout here, probably quite difficult because it's quite dark. This cutout here allows you to get to a bolt there and a bolt there. So we're going to do exactly the same on this other side now. Okay, so we're getting so close now to getting the rear diffuser on. Last step is to just sand this edge here, so that's where your lip's going to sit onto it. Make sure you don't rub any of the paint, so just be really careful. Yep, do the same on the other side. Let's use a cloth and the cleaning solution. Wipe that down, make sure there's no grease or contaminants on it. You never know when you touch it with your hands or it's been touched in the factory or whether it's been delivered. Okay, so one screw we are going to put in now is actually into this lower trim. Just holds that in place. Exactly the same here. So just insert that screw. Okay, so this is now the bit you've all been waiting for. So to attach it to the car, you've got two clips here that go into this groove. These edges sit on top of here, and we're actually going to put adhesive on these to glue this top part in place. And then that bar and that bar that you attached, you actually screw upwards into through this and into that to hold it in place. First thing I'm going to do, if we don't forget them, parking sensors, get those attached, clipped in place. They only go in one way, and they do take a bit of force to clip them in. So that's now in. I don't recommend leaving it for too long. So what we're going to do next is apply some liquid adhesive all the way along this, being careful not to get it on the paintwork. Right, so just get rid of that end bit, so it's dried off at the end of mine. So let's now run the liquid adhesive and let's do the same on the other side. We know now not to put a little bit less. Remembering to go all the way down. Clip in, two clips in. Right, so before you make sure you push this on, just get any glue off the top so you're not wiggling and around. Sometimes it's a bit tricky and you get a bit of glue on that edge. Okay. We'll push that in. Again, use this cleaning fluid to wipe off any excess that come up over the top. Right, so we've got the little spacers on the end of the screw. We're going to put these in place. Don't worry too much about this coming away, because we're going to use some tape to hold it in place in a minute. this down here. You can see we've now got those screws in. We'll do the same on the other side, and then we're going to do the tape. Okay, so that's the 4 or the 8 screws in, should I say. You can see it's pretty much lined up at the top. What we're going to do is get our cloth, clean off any excess that we can see. Let's get plenty of fluid on there. Clean off that excess, keeping pressure on. Okay, then I'm just going to use low tack tape. That's one side done. We'll go over to this side now. So we're going to do the same again. Let's do it slightly different though. Let's apply the pressure. Get that first bit of tape on, and then we'll get the excess off. The glue. Again, plenty on your cloth. Just get in there, and we'll get that glue off. Just keep rubbing and it will come off. And it looks like it's getting messy, but it's just as the glue gets wetter, it spreads. Keep going with it. We'll get a nice clean edge. Okay, and then you want to leave that on for 24 hours roughly, and that will give you a good bond to the car. Okay, so it's the next day. So we gave it 24 hours to dry, stripped the tape off, and you can see we've obviously put the rear lights back on, so just reverse the instructions in the beginning of the video, and you can see that looks a lot better. Really close finish, really tidy and clean in terms of getting that diffuser fitted. So hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe for future content. We've got more coming. We've got a new exhaust, a downpipe, coilovers, lots of bits coming for this car. There'll be lots of how-to videos in the next couple of months. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.